Full disclosure, the voice you are listening to now is artificially generated, brought to you by satisphonic.com. See the link in the description for more details. What brand is actively watering down their quality? Prime just announced they are adding advertising to their movies. Bastards. This pisses me off like nothing else. I signed up for Prime, not because of the videos, that was just a really cool bonus. I signed up for the free overnight shipping. Now, the majority of Prime deals are 2 or 3 days shipping. Fair enough, at least I still get the Prime video bonus. Now, commercials. I literally cancelled my membership this morning. It's gotten to the point that there's no longer any cost or convenience benefit to shopping on Amazon V's brick and mortar store. Kahlua is literally watering down their product. Ava went from 25% to 22% to 18%. My Phil used to make his own Kahlua, and I used to laugh at him for it. Now I'm sitting here considering dusting off his recipe. Etsy used to have so many good products made by creative and talented people. But more and more I'm seeing shitty t-shirt prints and stuff from Amazon. I miss the long ago Etsy, when it was handmade items. Etsy has become ridiculously expensive for sellers too. So much product is now mass-produced, made in China, knockoffs. But those sellers make Etsy money, so the company seems to be embracing it. Etsy 10 years ago was amazing. The advertiser that bought the little sponsored post that tries to look like a comment is probably regretting it in this thread. Why does no one else mention this? It's like everyone collectively is ignoring the ads inside the comments app. There are ads everywhere now. In the comments on Facebook Messenger, in between people in your inbox, even when you go to someone's profile on Instagram, there are ads in between posts if you're scrolling. It's gotten way out of hand. For all the good Google did for the internet and information sharing, they really fucked things up as well. Browsing the internet anymore is a fucking chore because of the assault of ads and data you give up. Seriously, the average person has no idea how much info is tracked. Listening to our cell phones. Lo, they don't need them. I'm on old Reddit and don't see them. Panda. Just what the world needs. A thimble full of soup for $12. I just went for the first time recently and was so shocked that this place is supposedly popular. $20 for a mediocre turkey, blunt and a soft drink, talks what my local sandwich shop costs, and not as good either. I guess the decorations are nicer than in a Subway. I worked at a Panera in high school, probably from 6-8. The portions were much bigger, and the quality was high for baked goods, soups and salads, although the soups always came to store pre-made. It had a jazz cafe vibe, and was a popular gathering place for studying and socializing. No drive-thrus. Panera got bought out a few years ago, from what I hear, and I'm assuming that's when the smaller portions, lower quality and price, gouging started. It makes me so sad. I worked there at the exact same time, also while in high school, and this is 100% correct. Bakers actually came in overnight to prepare everything, and the only pre-made stuff was the soups. Probably about $10 for a meal, though with the employee discount it was always like $3, $4. I stopped in one recently and was shocked how expensive it was, and how limited the bakery selection had become. And at some point they got rid of the iced honeydew green tea, which was the greatest drink ever. Panera is just high-priced hospital food. Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, pretty much all the streaming services. Shittier content, introduction of ads, constant price increases for zero added value. And they're literally swapping the same stuff back and forth as licenses change. Have you ever wanted 4 or 5 cable providers at once? Exactly. And I've been dropping them one by one for this very reason. Prime Video is the last streaming platform I still pay for, and that's only because it's bundled into my Prime membership. I'm seriously considering dropping it altogether now. I just received an email from Prime that says they are going to start ads. And to go ad-free, you can pay an additional $2.99. And even that's not quite real. They have moved some original content onto Freevee, which requires the watching of ads. Lately it feels more like which brand isn't watering down their quality and quantity behavior. Cable TV stations, TVs, Toont, Amx, Sundance, Comedy Central, etc. All running the same shows for hours on end, repeating day after day, running cheap reality TV with little variety and far less original content than their earlier days. And the commercial loading, off the charts. Utter garbage for maximum price. According to this thread, it seems like almost every single business has gone to shit. Breyer's ice cream was a premium brand when I was younger. A bunch of years ago they changed and are now the crappy brand. Check what you're buying. Some of it is still Breyer's ice cream, but a lot if it is now frozen dairy dessert. Ah yes, frozen dairy dessert, which doesn't even melt. Oil-based happiness substitute. Yeah, the vanilla, literally, had only 4 ingredients. Milk, cream, sugar, vanilla. If you're Canadian, you'll know Tim Hortons. What was once a beloved coffee shop brand that offered decent food and coffee has now become a pale imitation of itself. Burger King purchased it like it did 20 or so years ago, so it's obvious why. A friend recently said that the owner is notorious for getting food down to the bare minimum of what people will accept and finding the profits there. Let's just cut to the chase. Tim Hortons is an advertising machine that uses Canadiana to sell a product. They just happen to use it to sell coffee and donuts. They're the Harley Davidson of coffee, piggybacking to complain about Tim Hortons menu changes. One of their biggest strengths was their limited menu, when they stuck to soups and chili, sandwiches, baked goods, and simple beverages. The quality was consistently good across the country, and it was literally fast food. Now there are way too many options for everything. Anything resembling quality has disappeared and wait times are insane. Also, they have completely disrespected their Canadian roots by removing the maple dip and Canadian maple donut. For this alone, I hope the CEO steps on all the Lego in 2024. Edit. Apparently our local Timmy's, Northern BQ, have made the decision to cut everything maple flavored. While I'm personally offended at our lack of maple, I'm relieved for my fellow Canadians. Yankee Candle. Well, a lot of candles, but it sucks when such a big candle brand known for having amazing candles has fallen off so tremendously. Went into a Yankee candle store and picked up my favorite candle candle, Red Apple Wreath, and could barely smell it with my nose held just above the whack. Genuinely got scared I had COVID. Went home and opened the one I have that's several years old, and the scent filled the whole room without even having to light it. The quality really has gone downhill. Edit. For everyone suggesting it's COVID related, the experience I commented on occurred a few months ago, and I had managed to avoid catching COVID at all until about 2 weeks ago, during which I did not lose my sense of smell. While I haven't been to a Yankee candle store since recovering from COVID, I have been to Bath and Body Works, and their candles and lotions and room scents smell just as strongly as I recall them smelling before I had COVID for the first time 2 weeks ago. And given that I've lit candles at home in the past few days, including IC candles I've had for years, and been able to smell them, I'm going to guess that this has nothing to do with COVID. Check out Kringle Candle. It's run by the guy that founded Yankee Candle years ago. Pricey, but are what Yankee Candle used to be. Ultimate troll. Create an amazing product, make a decent amount of money selling it and gather a loyal customer base. Sell to a competitor for an embarrassing amount of money. Wait for product to go down in quality. Create new company with same product. Repeat. Pop-Tart had happened to their frosting placement. Have happened to the filling. I bought some after not having them for years, and I was like, where's the filling? By weight, they have definitely shrunk as I looked up old packaging. My $1 million idea, which is maybe too far too gone at this point, was to create a website database which tracked nutrition fact labels ingredients over the last 3 decades, so we could shine a light on how much these products have changed and hold companies accountable through the metrics in an effort to force them to reconsider their garbage anti-consumer practices. Not what you are looking for, but this site reports on items that change. Hut, UB Mouseprint, or YouTube is rapidly turning into just ads. In the middle of vids too, had nice winter fireplace videos running for Christmas, only to be wrecked by loud ads for skincare every 7 minutes. Don't forget the ads that push misinformation and will run for hours if you don't click the skip button. I got an ad once that was literally a full Chinese musical filmed in a theater. I have no idea what it was advertising. Lululemon, my lines from 5 years ago are only just pilling a bit. My lines from 3 months ago started pilling before I even washed them. They also have some loose threads. Yes, I took mine into a store after the same thing happened after 3 months. One pair actually split at the seam. They begrudgingly accepted to replace them under the quality guarantee, but I was effectively gaslit and blamed for causing the damage. Yep, bought a long sleeve shirt 3 years ago, and it still looks brand new. Bought the exact same shirt again recently, and it was piling after a full day wear. My older sister gave me a bunch of Lululemon sports bras from when she was in high school 10 years ago. And I swear they look brand new, not even pit-stained, and she sweats a lot. I've gathered a few items from Lululemon over the last 2-3 years, and the quality on every single item has been abysmal for the price. Either the fabric is incredibly delicate, anything Nulu, the threads come loose immediately, soft stream top, or they just wore out insanely over those 2 years. Cuba joggers and oversized crew. I love the French Terry Scuba joggers so much, cut and fabric comfort, but cannot justify the cost with how quickly they wore out. I've had sweatpants from Walmart last longer than those. Damn, this thread is making me depressed. Dr. Martens boots. Most of them are made in China. Now, and even the made in England, Docs are made with inferior cheap leather and don't even have a shank. They are nothing more than fad fashion now. Solitaire used to make the Doc Martens in England, and when Doc Martens moved overseas, they continued making boots in the same factory under their own name.
Hats, Stridewise, Condrum, Martens, Vives, Condor, Martens, Vefs, Solitaire.
I was about to post the same reply. Solitaires are what Docs used to be like 30 years ago. Google. The search engine is now the same as Alta Vista, where you have to scroll past all the sponsored content you are not interested in, and YouTube is now showing 3 ads to watch a 20-second clip. I agree, if I want to Google something nowadays, I feel like I need to add Wikipedia or Reddit to the search to find anything. It's become such a mess for looking up coding questions too, that ChatGPT has almost completely replaced Google for simple things for me. Granted, that's getting worse fast too. COVID was a tipping point for all consumer product manufacturers to just lay off their entire QC departments, while simultaneously quintupling prices. Cadbury. Scroll to the end for this. Used to be creamy and lovely. Now tastes like the shit chocolate you use to get in advent calendars. I never buy it anymore. The native brand product you can usually find at Target. The body lotion is like straight water, and several other people have said that too. I can't offer an example of a brand that isn't guilty of this. Cheap, poor quality, replaceable products and goods is literally the fuel of our global economy. No company makes their products to last a lifetime or even a decade that I can think of. Everything from buildings, homes, cars, complete infrastructure to the little things like shoes, phones, t-shirts, lipstick. It is no longer a goal for products to last. Quite the opposite. The shorter the lifespan, the more the consumer will replace, repurchase and reinvest. We are living in an era where the norm is to purposely withhold and prevent longevity. We have consciously become a society where progress is discouraged. We accept lack of innovation and improvement because of the money flow that is generated from dependency on outdated and poor technologies by today's standards. Doritos. Their sweet chili flavor is starting to become very bland. Pringles has already reached the point where whichever flavor you buy, it's original. Here in the Netherlands, we have the Nutri-Score scale for all edible products. The score displays how healthy the products are based on their nutrition value and is put on the front side of each packing. What we experience is that most chips crisp producers change the recipes to have a better nutrition scoring rate. This results in less salt, less flavor, and in particular for the Doritos, this makes them very bland. I am not even buying them anymore. I swear, Doritos don't have as much seasoning on them now, and fuck it, at $6 a bag, I'm not gonna even bother anymore. Can you remember when Pringles sour cream and onion first came out? You used to be able to lick off a 1M layer of white flavoring on each one. Now you're lucky if you get that much flavor between a whole tub. Pointless, overpriced crisps now. Amazon. I've returned probably half of things I've ordered recently, and I've been getting a lot of knockoffs. So much crap on Amazon nowadays. 90% is just cheap junk bought in bulk from Alibaba and rebranded with some weird, unpronounceable brand name. Nowadays, I always search outside of Amazon whenever possible because they often don't have the best pricing anymore, and plenty of other sites offer free shipping. To that note, sometimes when you choose an item with a lot of positive feedback, the deeper you go into the reviews and photos, you'll see that the product that was originally associated with the listing does not match what's currently selling under that same page. Sellers will take a listing page with great reviews and swap out the product, so you can't trust it either way. Their price-fixing scam is solved up too. They take away the buy button from any product they catch selling for less than they're listing elsewhere. You can still click through to purchase options to buy, but it takes an extra step to look sketch if you're not familiar with the setup. Vendors have put up a little sale on their own store sites, only to find Amazon shafted them on the buy button thing, plummeting those sales. It's one of the many reasons that the Feds is going after me recently. I've shifted to buying direct from brands for this and other reasons, if that's feasible. Gestures broadly. Levi's. Every new pair I bought had a problem. Fun fact, Levi's sells several different quality levels depending on where you buy them. So the pair you buy at Target, Walmart and Stromrecht will be noticeably lower quality than the pair you buy from the Levi's flagships, stores they own and operate. Super frustrating, and you really don't know about it unless you work in cut price retailing. In fact, basically everything you see at a Nordstrom Rack or Chuck store is made for them in separate factories with different, cheaper material. Literally every fashion brand does this and waters themselves down. Craftsman tools. The drills used to be competitive, now everything has to be Milwaukee, which is triple the price. Didn't see this one, so I'll throw it out there. Google products. Putting aside the more fundamental concerns about data privacy or ethics and all that. Just focus on quality for this. Search. It's a mess. If I want an answer, I need to add Reddit to my search. There are no more finding relevant info from unique sites. Every result is branded SEO stuff to filter you to some big entity in the space. It just isn't good at what it's supposed to do. The chat eyes are only a threat to Google because search is so clearly just a moneymaker now and not useful at all. YouTube, it's a mess. Its search functions are almost worse than search. Shorts are so annoying, ads get longer and longer. The way they compensate content creators kills the content. Easy example. I followed a channel of a guy who did these long video series where he'd play a game and wax philosophical. It made them very popular and beloved in his niche. Now he only makes 5-10-minute quick videos released rapidly. He was asked why, and he said that the algorithms reward shorter content, posting more often. Longer videos just don't get promoted, probably because the ad ratios get lower. The Google Suite tools still work well, likely because those are sold to businesses, so maintaining quality is more important. But their flagships, YouTube and Search, are just no good, too big to be replaced though, so it's gonna be a long spiral downward for them. Hard agree on your YouTube comment. Back around 2016, I remember coming home from work, and my whole recommended page would be filled with videos I was super keen to watch, that I'd chuck into my watch later for hours worth of entertainment. I miss those days so much. Shit, I remember when it didn't even have ads at all. I miss it. Remember that too. YouTube's never had a bigger content library, and yet the world it reveals to me feels smaller and smaller every day. The AID algorithm is incredibly aggressive these days. You just need to watch 1 or 2 videos on a certain subject, or from a certain subject, or from a certain creator, and that starts appearing in your feed. I've got over a decade of history, so it must be very heavily weighted to the last few hours of viewing. I study history at university, and have found in the last 2 years that Google's search capabilities have become awful. Normally, I could find specific things when enclosing them in inverted commas, but even now that is proving to be difficult as it automatically corrects or changes my search. And I had instances where I can't seem to override the chain. Searching for specific phrases or words is very useful for historians, especially if you're trying to find certain sources, and instead the engine thinks it knows better than what I'm specifically asking it to search for. I tried searching for a video on YouTube from a small musician I know about 6-7 years ago. I used the exact title of the video, which included his name, and it didn't appear in the results. Literally had to go directly to the artist page to find the video. It's just absurd how bad it is at this point. Full on enshittification. Anything candy with chocolate. You mean chocolatey confections? So many cannot be called chocolate currently. Also, their home assistants. I had some Google Home Minis. Their utility has vanished over the years. Utterly useless products. They never work, and when they do, asking to turn off the lights is followed by a monologue of bullshit tips and tricks. All of them. The enshittification of absolutely everything is upon us. Not a certain brand, but I think a lot of restaurants have gone downhill. The food just tastes average and rushed, but at the same time, the prices are more than ever. Subway used to make halfway decent sandwiches that were a pretty good deal. Now, paper-thin meat slices, fillers in the meat, browning gross veggies, 3-day-old stale bread, $12 hard pass. This is a lesson in how businesses fail. They want to make more money, so cheap out on quality. This works short-term, but eventually they lose their customers, so they start to cut costs further and lose more customers. Then it becomes a brand you used to know. A business can't just be profitable anymore. It has to make more profit than last year to be considered successful. The idea of infinite growth is literally unsustainable, yet it is the bedrock of every corporate entity. Growth for the sake of growth is the philosophy of a cancer cell. IKEA. I have stuff from 10 years ago that was alright, and the same item bought recently is trash. There was a Gaul on TikTok who shared some pages from a catalogue a few years back, comparing what is now a $1,500 couch. The same exact model was $800. Quality has gone down as inflation costs went up. Disney. I hate to say it, but more recent movies just don't have the same charm as they used to. Celebrating their centennial by dropping a massive deuce on us, like Wish, really puts into perspective how Disney is doing these days.